the intelligence community is able to figure out immediately who was leaking classified information in a Discord chat, but yet still doesn't want to say whether it came from the lab or didn't come from the lab. The intelligence communities seem to release or not release information based on how the information will affect the government that it seems to protect. Yet, unfortunately, so many times it doesn't release or not release the information the people that it serves, and I'll remind everyone, is paid for by the taxpayers of America. I would like to point out that the State Department fact sheet on January 15th, 2021 knew a lot of information about the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So that means our intelligence community knew a whole lot more before that. They knew the U.S. government believes that there were several researchers inside the Wuhan Institute of Virology became sick in the autumn of 2019, before the CCP first reported cases of COVID-19. They also knew that the CCP was preventing journalists, investigators, and global health authorities from accessing the Wuhan Institute of Virology. They also knew that starting in 2016, well before this, the Wuhan Institute of Virology was researching the bat coronavirus with the closest relationship to SARS-CoV-2, 96.2% similar. The Wuhan Institute of Virology has published record of dangerous gain-of-function research. And the State Department memo also said that the U.S. government determined the Wuhan Institute of Virology collaborated on publications and secret projects with the CCP military since at least 2017. And you know what else we know? We know that Dr. Fauci in the NIH funded through grants Eco-Alliance with the gain-of-function research. We know that for a fact. Our government paid for it. Our taxpayers, unfortunately, unknowingly, paid for it. So we know all this to be true, and we know it was going on at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Mr. Lowenthal, with your dedication to being an analyst of information, why is it so hard to determine whether COVID-19 came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology or not?
Because the Chinese will not give us access to the information that we need. If they gave us the kind of access that Mr. Feith was talking about, if they gave us samples, if they gave us access to their records, and you will never be sure with the Chinese whether they're giving you the access that you want, we're never going to be able to say with a high degree of certainty. It's not. May I respond to something else that you said in your comments, Ms. Greene? There is a vast, vast difference between tracking a leak on a social media site and determining the origins of this disease. And to compare the two is entirely fallacious, ma'am.
Dr. Lowenthal, you've said that you keep your intelligence claims and information nonpartisan. In 2018, Mr. Lowenthal, you were quoted in the New York Times saying that President Trump is the best president that Russia ever had. That sounds pretty political to me.
But I was no longer an intelligence officer at the time, ma'am. I'm a private citizen.
Well, I think you have a difficult time keeping your political opinions out of your political analyst